When single dad Ethan unlocked the creaky wooden door of the old farmhouse he bought for just $15,000, he expected dust, rodents, maybe a broken window or two. He did not expect two trembling twin girls hiding behind the kitchen counter, nor the moment one whispered, with tears streaking her dirt-covered cheeks. "Please, don't call the police. They'll take us away again." Ethan should have stepped back. He should have called someone. Instead, that moment changed all of their lives forever. Before Ethan ever heard that terrified whisper, he spent years believing he couldn't save anyone, not his late wife, not himself. But fate had a different plan waiting inside that forgotten farmhouse, and it had two small faces. Ethan Collins didn't buy the farmhouse because he wanted land. He didn't buy it because he dreamed of being a farmer or escaping city life. He bought it because it was all he could afford. $15,000. That's what grief, medical bills, and single parenthood did to a man who once had a future mapped out with his wife, Lily. After she passed away, Ethan spent more days surviving than living, raising his 8-year-old son Noah the best he could. When his landlord announced a rent increase he simply couldn't pay, he emptied his small savings and bought the cheapest property he could find, an old farmhouse on the outskirts of town, run down, half forgotten, and rumored to be not entirely empty. He ignored the rumors. He didn't have the luxury of fear. It was supposed to be a fresh start. But the moment he and Noah stepped across the porch, something felt wrong. It wasn't just the cold air or the stale smell. It was the faint sound, like someone shuffling quietly above the kitchen. Noah, clutching his stuffed dinosaur, whispered, "Dad, is someone here?" Ethan forced a smile. Probably a raccoon. But the sound came again. Too soft, too careful. Human. He stepped forward slowly, every instinct screaming at him to protect his son. He motioned for Noah to wait by the door and walked deeper into the kitchen, his boots crunching on broken plaster. And that's when he saw it. A small shadow darting behind the counter. Ethan froze. "I know someone's there," he said gently. "I'm not here to hurt you." Silence. Then a shaky breath. Finally, two faces peeked up, tiny, terrified, dirt-smudged faces. Twin girls, maybe 10 years old. Knees pulled to their chests, hair tangled, clothes torn like they had been hiding for weeks. One of them whispered the words that cut into his chest. "Please don't call the police. They'll separate us. They always do." Ethan's heart dropped. "What are your names?" he asked softly. "I'm Emma," the older one said. "This is Ella." Twin sisters. Frightened. Desperate. "How long have you been here?" Ethan asked. They exchanged glances. "Since the last people left." "They moved out fast," Emma murmured. We didn't have anywhere else to go." Their stomachs growled loudly. Noah, watching from the doorway, stepped forward with his small backpack. Without hesitation, he took out the sandwich he had packed for the ride. "It's okay," Noah said quietly. "You can have mine." The girls looked at Ethan, uncertain. He nodded. They devoured the sandwich so fast it broke Ethan's heart. Then he asked the question he suddenly feared the answer to. "Where are your parents?" Emma's lips trembled. "Our mom is gone. Our stepdad, he drinks. He said we were too much trouble. So we left. If you call the police, they'll send us back." Ella buried her face in her sister's shoulder. Ethan's hands tightened into fists. He knew what fear looked like. He knew what losing a home felt like. And he knew exactly what it was like to have a child look at you and trust you with everything they had left. He looked at the broken walls, the peeling paint, the cracked tiles, and then at the trembling twins. This house wasn't ready for anyone. But somehow, it felt like it was meant for them. "Listen," Ethan said, kneeling down. "No one is separating you. Not while you're with me. Emma stared at him in disbelief. "You're not calling the police?" "No," he whispered. "Right now, you're safe." The relief in their eyes was overwhelming. But Ethan knew the truth. Whatever happened next would change all their lives, and danger was already closer than he realized. Just when Ethan thought he could quietly protect the girls, a truck he didn't recognize slowly pulled up the gravel road, its driver carrying the past the twins were running from, and fury in his eyes. Over the next 2 days, the farmhouse transformed from a cold shell into something almost warm. Ethan cleaned out a bedroom and found 2 old mattresses in the barn. Noah gave the twins his extra blanket. Emma washed dishes without being asked. Ella swept the floor with a broom 3 times her height. For the first time in a long time, there was laughter in the house. But there was also fear that everything could be ripped away. Ethan made a promise to himself. He would find a long-term solution. He would protect those girls, no matter what it took. But protection wasn't simple. Social services had strict processes. The law was complicated. And Ethan was terrified of one thing. If he reported them, they might be separated. And he didn't know if his heart, or the twins, could survive that. One afternoon, while the twins and Noah played outside, Ethan sat at the old kitchen table, filling out a form for temporary guardianship. It wasn't much, but it was something. A first step. That's when he heard the engine. The sound of a truck rolling up the driveway, slow, heavy, deliberate. Ethan stepped outside. A tall man climbed out. Unshaven. Eyes bloodshot. Jacket stained with grease and something darker. The twins froze. Ella's knees shook. Emma reached for Ethan's arm. The man glared at Ethan, then at the girls. "You found my kids," he growled. "I'm here to take them back." Ethan's heartbeat spiked. "That depends," he said carefully. "Why did they leave in the first place?" The man stepped closer, breath reeking of alcohol. "None of your damn business. They belong to me." Emma whispered, trembling, "Please don't make us go with him." Ethan stood tall, his voice steady but firm. "They're not going anywhere until I know they're safe." The man's fists clenched. "You think you can keep them? You're just some broke single dad living in a rotten house. You can't protect them from me." Before Ethan could speak, Noah stepped in front of him, tiny fists tight. "Don't touch my sisters." "Sisters?" the man scoffed. "They ain't your sisters." "They are now," Noah said bravely. Something in Ethan snapped, something protective, primal, unshakable. "Leave," Ethan said coldly. "Right now." The man smirked. "Fine. But I'll be back. And next time, I'm bringing the sheriff." He drove off, tires spitting gravel. The twins burst into tears. Ethan knelt, pulling them close. "You're not going back to him," he promised. "I don't care what he says. I will fight for you." Emma sobbed into his shoulder. Ella whispered, "Please don't let him find us again." Ethan looked out the window at the disappearing truck. A battle was coming. One that would test everything he had left. But for the first time since his wife died, he felt something powerful rising inside him. The strength to save someone. The strength to build a family again. The strength to fight for them.